Waters.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
O'Kane.
Here.
Shaner.
Here.
Scott.
Here, could we stand for a moment of silent prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Interviews for Facilities Tourism Advisory Board, Reagan Cody. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to serve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us
Reagan,
about yourself.
about
Gosh.
I'm Reagan Cody. I'm the Executive Director of Downtown Partners, and I have been attending this committee for some time now. So since I'm there anyway and making updates, I would love to be a part of the group and have a voting right.
Look at you go.
Any questions for me?
Well, you would do great. Yeah,
Thanks.
you're already there. You get
I
the
know.
updates. I think you provide valuable insight. You attend a lot of the different events at city facilities, which is a big part of what the input is needed in this committee and being able to make recommendations and adjustments. So I appreciate that.
All right. Thank you.
No doubt.
Mike Skaggs.
I'm Mike Skaggs. I'm currently on the board and back to re-up. I think Sioux City has a lot of things to offer in all areas. I've worked on over 46 national championships with the NAIA. Currently working on the state baseball tournament that'll be in Sioux City July 21st to the 25th. I just think it's important with the facilities we have and our community that we make every experience that people have from out of town the best it can be, as well as those who live in Sioux City.
Excellent. I'm glad you applied for the full term, because I think you had
Yes.
a partial term before this,
Mm-hmm.
and you're very active. Thank you.
Yes.
Very much appreciated, all your involvement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lori Law for the Human Rights Commission.
Hi, my name is Lori Lau, Kleinschmidt. I've been born here, raised here. I've worked for the Public Defender's Office here for 15 years. And I'm just interested in advocating for people's rights and doing the right thing and having fair outcomes.
Appreciate your interest very much.
You bet. Is that it?
Okay, thank you.
Hey, there you go. Painless.
We will go to the consent agenda items 3 through 15C. Consider them to pass unanimously unless a separate roll call vote is requested by a council member. If you want to speak on an item, please come up as I read that number. If you want to speak on an item not under the agenda, please come up under citizen concerns. Remember to always state your name and address for the record. Not address, name. Sorry. I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
3 is a reading of the May 21st and June 2nd City Council minutes. 4 is a resolution adopting the Downtown Tenant Improvement Program. 5 is a resolution adopting plans and specs for the Dace Avenue and Leach Avenue 3-lane conversion project. 6 are actions relating to grants. A is a resolution accepting the Burn Justice Assistant Grant Funds for a driving simulator. B is a resolution supporting the submission of the Iowa Economic Development Authority application to Workforce Housing Tax Credit Program for Westland Property Management Development.
Mayor, I'm going to abstain on item 6B, conflict of interest.
7 are actions relating to street closures. A is a resolution temporarily closing a section of 4th Street on June 21st for the Art Affair. B is a resolution temporarily closing various downtown streets and all business front sidewalks on historic 4th on June 21st for the June Jam outdoor concert event. C is a resolution temporarily closing various downtown streets on July 26th for the Mestizo MC annual ride-in bike show event. D is a resolution temporarily closing various downtown streets on June 28th for the Shotgun Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club Support the Blue fundraiser. 8 are actions relating to agreements and contracts. A is a resolution approving a subordination agreement with Access Bank for the Chestnut Hill Development, 2809 Floyd Boulevard and 2901 Floyd Boulevard. B is a resolution approving a contract to critical pipeline repair for the 12th Street Floyd Boulevard Storm Sewer Project. C is a resolution approving a consulting and services agreement with DGR Engineering for the Isabella Square and the Lions Park Area HMA resurfacing project. D is a resolution approving an agreement with professional services with HDR Engineering for grant writing services. E is a resolution awarding a service provider agreement to Midwest Petroleum Equipment for the installation of a fuel management system at the marina. F is a resolution approving a contract to Seawalson Contracting for the Lions Park Investment Area Sidewalk Improvement Project. G is a resolution approving a change order number 3 to the contract with Sioux City Engineering for the Ridge Avenue Emergency Repair Project. H is a resolution approving a First Amendment and extension option 1 to the contract of paratransit demand response services and extension option 1 to joint participation vehicle use agreement with Siouxland Regional Transit. And I would like to go back to G. And Gordon, I didn't ask you the question, I apologize, but normally when you have an emergency project, the attorney can correct me, it's to handle what the emergency is. You can expand those if it continues to be an emergency, but this thing's gotten completely out of hand. It's hard for me sitting here as a layman to think that some of this is what needs to be done, but is no longer an emergency that should have been bid in a separate contract. Am I understanding how it's supposed to work?
Emergency declarations are to address the immediate need.
Right. But this thing keeps going on and on and on.
Gordon Fair, city engineer. This project was a problem from the beginning where it, on Ridge from Westcott to Lynn, completely blew the street up. I mean, you could not drive on it. It had to be repaired, but the water main kept breaking, so it had to be replaced. Plus, we had to fix some sanitary lines that were in there because they broke in relation to the water main break. So those were done, but then we've noticed that Lynn was completely undermined enough so that an excavator actually fell through the concrete. So that one had to be done as well, along with some sanitary repairs, all due to the water main repair, break. So while we were there, I mean, we fixed the water main. We replaced the water main because it didn't make any sense to repave the street.
No, but sometimes I think we use emergencies when we could have had time to know that this was happening and bid, because that's the way it's actually supposed to work. And I don't quite understand how we couldn't have known some of this after we opened it up, that we were going to have to do it. So that's just, I guess I don't know what I'm talking about, but true emergencies, you just can't keep adding to them. But 8, I did that one. I is a resolution awarding a service provider agreement to Thompson Solutions for the wastewater treatment plant SCADA and PLC repair labor project. I need to abstain, conflict of interest. G is a resolution approving a subordination agreement with Prime Bank for the Westland Property Management Development at 1600 Castleman Street.
Mayor, I need to abstain on that one as well, conflict of interest.
9 are actions relating to personnel. A is a resolution approving a personnel manual and salary schedule for fire supervisor employees. B is a resolution approving the personnel manual and salary schedule for PATS executive and council appointed employees. C is a resolution approving an employee benefits and other compensation guide for employees covered by the personnel manual for PATS executive and council appointed employees. D is a resolution amending a position classification manual by approving updated job descriptions as recommended by Baker Tilly. E is a resolution amending the authorized personnel complement in the position classification by adding the position of facility maintenance manager. F is a resolution amending the personnel classification manual and approving an updated job description for the position of field service division manager, amending the authorized personnel complement. Items 9G to J are resolution amending the authorized personnel complements in the position classification manuals by adding the positions of parking and skywalk office manager, parks and rec supervisor, planning manager, and transit operations manager. 10 are actions authorizing payments. A is a resolution authorizing payment to NEBCON for the fiber optic project. B is a resolution authorizing payment to Nystrom Electric for the Hubbard Park lighting upgrade project. C is a resolution authorizing payment to Nelson Commercial Construction for the Lions Park improvement project. Items 10D and J are resolutions approving partial settlements of tort claims and authorizing payments. 11 is authorizing actions relating property. A is a resolution inviting proposals to sell property in the combined central Sioux City CBD urban renewal area, announcing the intent to accept the proposal of Adrian Magana and scheduling a public hearing on the alley adjacent to 106 13th Street. B is a resolution inviting proposals to sell land in the combined central Sioux City CBD urban renewal area, announcing the intent to accept the proposal of Bishop Heelan and scheduling a public hearing the alley adjacent to 112 13th Street. C is a resolution inviting proposals to sell land in the Donner Park urban renewal area, announcing the intent to accept the proposal of Siouxland Developers and scheduling a public hearing the property at 3400 Line Drive. 12 are purchasing. A is a resolution awarding a purchase order to Hinckley Medical for 8 one-weight cot mounted scales. B is a resolution awarding a purchase order to MEQU Warmer Systems for 8 warmer starter kits and 20 warmer inserts. 13 are applications for cigarette, tobacco, nicotine, vapor product permits. 14 are applications for alcohol license. We need to move to amend to remove item 14A1B, and I'll move that. A second.
Second.
O'Kane.
Aye.
Shaner.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
15 are boards and commission and committee minutes. See the list. Do you have any questions? This concludes the consent agenda. Does anybody want to be heard on any of those items? Okay. Passes 5-0. 16 is a hearing and resolution determining an area of the city to be blighted area, designating such area as appropriate for urban renewal project, and adopting an amendment, number 1, to the amended and restated Teton Urban Renewal Plan for the Teton Urban Renewal Project, area property 3540 Indian Hills Drive. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing's now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Oh, come on up.
Is this for general?
No.
Just
No.
this item.
Passes 5-0. 17 is a resolution approving a development minimum assessment agreement with Apache View Townhouses, the property at 3540 Indian Hills Drive. I'll move that.
Second.
Passes 5-0. 18 is an ordinance amending 1920 entitled Fireworks of the Sioux City Municipal Code.
Mary.
I don't even know why we have to do this. If the state tells you can't do something, I struggle with.
Sure, it's a slight modification from the previous ordinance approved by the council. We needed to change it and bring forward some hour revisions to be in line with what we're now told we have to do. So that's really the only change. It's extending the hours slightly in the morning on the 3rd and the 4th.
Up from 1 o'clock p.m. that we have in our current ordinance to 9 o'clock a.m.
Yes.
state law, on July 3rd and July 4th.
Correct.
Does this include the verbiage? Wasn't there something about if it's on the weekend versus during the week?
Sure, if it's during the week, then July 3rd, the time must end at 10 p.m. If the 3rd falls on a Saturday or Sunday immediately preceding the July 4th holiday, then it would be extended to 11 p.m.
Try to get the word out on that. Yeah, good luck.
Did we move it?
I'll move it.
Second. Exactly. It's,
Passes 4-0, or 4-1, I vote no. I'm not for waiving the statutory rule. You can do it next week when I'm gone. Citizen concerns.
there you go, buddy.
How's it going? I am Zayden Refit, a college student at Morningside University. So a specific statute that's in the municipal code right now is 4-123-140, which is teen nights in bars. Right now, anyone 18 to 21, there's very minimal things you can do when it comes to going out. Lots of people at the college, instead of going to a bar like other cities, like Iowa City and Des Moines, you either have to stay in your dorm or they will participate in underage drinking. That's what happens. Right now, you have a very strict and there's pretty much no bar in the entire city who will do a teen night because of the restrictions. Right now, a few things in there, you have to remove all alcohol and put it under lock and key. That's something that's a little hard for any bar to do. When it comes to restaurants who have bars, they're allowed to be out and have minors in there. They're allowed to have people who are under 18 in there to see that. So what's the problem with seeing bottles? I guess I'm asking for an amendment to make this a little easier for bars to be able to host teen nights, to have college kids be able to interact with their friends in a safe environment where they're able to have fun. I guess, is there any questions for that? I guess.
Been around when we had that. It didn't work like you want me to like what you're proposing, but I'll defer to the younger council members on that.
Is that Dan?
Hmm?
Is that Dan? I guess my question, and I don't know, Zayden, if you looked into it, but I'd be curious about the ordinance in Iowa City or any of the other cities and like what stipulations they have or any other examples in the state of Iowa of what they have proposed and what could be changed.
Okay, I did want to bring those, but those are also riddled with a lot of very vague wordings, very poorly worded, and I think you guys could do something a lot better. So I figured that, I guess the one things I'd want to, cut out of it would be, right now you have to turn off all signs. What's the point? A sign isn't going to influence someone in a negative way. Because right now, I can read parts of it. So right now,
Probably from a former restaurant and bar owner.
Yeah.
So it's not even more encouraging for people that are underage to drink. You know, there's plenty of advertising, it's on your phone.
it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. And so they're saying, well, let's not have a specific place where they go that is solely based on drinking. Can you find a place that isn't a bar to have a place for people 18 to?
There is one dry bar in town, but which trying to gain popularity with that one. But the thing is, there's
Does it have to be a
events.
bar, though, is what I'm saying? Can it not be like some kind of a dance club
An event
or
space.
an event? Yes, an event space that
There's
you
very
could-
little ones of those in Sioux City. About the only one that I know that allows 18 plus would be La Familia, but that's due to them selling food, and that's why they
Right,
get
but
away
they're a
with that.
restaurant, and I'm
Yes.
sure they're reserving their space for customers who are going to order, you know, have an event ordering food or catering.
Yeah.
I can think of a place on Floyd Boulevard that's right around the corner from Historic Fourth. I can think of the former Riviera Theater. They've got space, lots of it, and they're not classified as a bar. I'm just trying to think of some places that could help, huh?
Oh, yeah.
What's it called?
City Center.
City Center, I'm sorry.
But I guess I'm just curious, what would be the opposition to why changing it is wrong? Because I guess,
I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm just offering other options that wouldn't require the change.
okay, yeah, there is a few other options, but then again, it is slim. I hear from college students at WIT, I hear them from Briarcliff, I hear them from Morningside, all saying, what am I going to do since I'm 18? All my friends are going to the bars. All my friends are going to do karaoke at Tomfooleries or going to these other places that are having fun events that could be engaged with younger crowds as well. But then again, you will have restrictions like probably wristbands and marking. Places like Storm Lake, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. Malarkey's does teen nights where that's like their big popular nights. It boosts business. So I guess with this, the positives to this is it would allow 18 to 21-year-olds to be able to have a place to go
What about
to hang out with their
Roll-A-Rama?
older friends. What?
What about Roll-A-Rama? I mean, you don't have to roller skate there, but they have lights, music, they've got a good atmosphere, they got lots of space.
They're not open during the summer at all.
They are going to be open this summer. They're going to be open 1 or 2 days a week. I just saw that online.
Saw Facebook, they're open for a few more weeks, but more
Fridays,
than what they thought, but I don't know.
but if they had business,
I think you need to talk to our chief of police, because I can tell you, he can tell you problems that we had, but have you talked to him?
No, not yet. I just had been looking through this and trying to find places that we were able to host events for like activities on campus, like just ways for kids to be able to go out and
Sure.
do something.
yeah, and that's great.
Which, it's another way just to boost those businesses, to give them more traffic, because you can still buy other drinks. It doesn't have to be alcohol. It can be mocktails,
The
stuff like
problem
that.
is, though, in a big place, that the problem is that you can have somebody bring a drink to the table. That's what we ran into. That is the problem.
I was gonna say, you almost have to have it where you are serving to above 21, or it's an underage and no alcohol will be sold, period. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that, someone that is of age is gonna go back to their table with a friend, and then the friend, whether knowingly or not, could grab the drink, or share that, and then you're running into trouble. So it's like, I would imagine if you had a teen night, you're just not serving, period, whether you're of age or not.
Is that what you're
Is that what you're
marketing?
meaning?
So I guess would be all ages, just being able to allow 18, 20-year-olds on teen nights. That would be certain nights that they
Yeah.
host, and it would be like a college night, stuff like that.
Sure, and then the liability to the business owner as far as this 21-year-old sharing with this 20-year-old, 19-year-old, knowingly or unknowingly.
But that would also be up to the business owner to regulate.
But they're not going to want it. I will tell
security-
you that.
But again, changing it wouldn't force businesses to have these.
No,
It would
it
just give
wouldn't.
them the option to be able to
It wouldn't.
provide a space for 18 to 20-year-olds to also be able to go enjoy with their friends, have fun with karaoke, dance,
Sure.
that kind of stuff.
Sure.
University offer,
Space like that.
university offer anything like that
Not on campus.
on campus?
We do have res life events sometimes, but nothing that is even close to being able to like go out with a bunch of people and have fun.
Non-alcoholic.
Sounds
kind of
like the
a club.
alumni guy up there should spend a little more time with the existing students and get some activities going for them. He spends a lot of money on those alumni entertaining them, so maybe
I mean, it is in my title,
Alumni.
alumni director.
Well,
I can tell you that I'm just telling you, I think you have to start with the chief of police,
Okay.
because his recommendation will weigh heavily on my decision, I can tell you that. I don't know about the rest of them, but
it's not a bad idea, but I just don't think it's necessarily a bar where you want to do this, honestly. But I get it.
I just think about it, there is no state regulations on this. The state has no rules on whether you have to be an adult, but 18 to 21, you're allowed in bars in the state. It's just a Sioux City code that's preventing these bars to be able to host those kind of events, to have, because they can't host events at all, whether they're no alcohol or not. They
Have
can't.
you asked many of them to do it, and then they've told you
I've
no?
I've asked them, they said because of the municipal code, they are unable to do this, and they will not participate because of the super strict regulations for teen night, where you have to totally lock up all your alcohol under lock and key. You have to turn off all alcohol reference lights.
Neon signs.
Yeah.
Zayden, one thing I would urge you to think about too, I just got a message from the executive director of Downtown Partners, is she said there are actually a number of different places that try to host different things and different events for 18 plus. That there's a space on Jones, I forget the name of it, that has an 18 plus night. That's right on Jones Street, kind of by the convention center, I believe.
How
And
often
then-
are these, is what I'm curious about.
Well, I have no idea. I'm not sure about that. And then obviously I think you know about Winnie's.
Yep.
And then also Games King has different events. And so if you sign up too on Downtown Partners website, you can get their e-blast about what different events are happening downtown. Sometimes that has them. But yeah, you might be able to expand additional options. Like a good one I could see would be, you know, some of these arcade bars or some of those different themes that maybe they could have a dry. But it would take, again, the looking at the ordinance, which I think I'm willing to do, but I agree with the mayor that you would have to not only have the chief of police have a better understanding of what that's going to look like, but then you would also have to have a business or a bar that would want to sign up on that, whether it was the liability or whether it was a completely dry night or what that would look like.
That works.
So you would like to be in the mix in the historic Fourth area, or it could be anywhere?
What do you mean by that? I'm sorry.
Well, you want to have access to the businesses on historic Fourth and everywhere?
I just think bars in Sioux City in general, like
Okay.
they're 21 plus, so juniors, seniors in college are all going to be going there, while the underclassmen can't go with them. They can't hang out with their friends. Even when there's fun events like karaoke or trivia, bingo, that kind of stuff, they can't go to that. So just another opportunity for our young people to be able to support local businesses, including bars specifically, and just have another opportunity. Because young people are fleeing the state at an alarming rate. I think we need to find a way to specifically just find a way that we can let them be involved, let them support businesses, let them be involved with it, and just have another opportunity. That's all
Will you reach out to,
the chief of police.
yep, Rex? Okay.
All right,
See
thank
what he has to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi, Paul.
Hi. I texted Julie and Alex over the weekend and again today. There's weeds out there in Sioux City, and Sioux City's not taking care of them. And one of our clients that we don't take, well, they called us to take care of the weed abatement problem that they got notice on, and that just sent me over the edge. I sent these guys pictures over the weekend of medians on Floyd, Singing Hills, even Hamilton today, weeds down by our properties. I got a response from Julie today that Matt said that, pretty much said that they're too busy, right? They got till
No, he
Memorial
said-
Day.
No, that's not what I said.
Well, they are, right?
This time of
They said they
year-
focus on other more important things
This
until
time of
Memorial
year, They
Day.
start with all the parks and get them in great shape. You know how crappy it is through the winter, and they're cleaning up. Then they do cemeteries, make sure everything's ready for Memorial Day before they focus on medians, et cetera, regular work. And
All right,
I don't know
Memorial
why
Day was
that's
2
so
weeks ago.
ridiculous to you, Paul. Why is that ridiculous?
I said Memorial Day was 2 weeks ago,
Right.
right? And what my problem is, right? Citizens don't have those options. You know, when Mrs. Rager comes out or the other inspector, the citizen doesn't have the choice to say, hey, I got to focus on other things right now. I'll get to when I can. Okay, that's the problem. Okay, the citizen doesn't have that choice. The citizen has 7 days to clean the shit up, or the city gets to come out and clean it up for them and bill them. Okay, that's the problem.
And it is, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I understand the frustration of the timeline and with what that is and holding people or the city accountable if citizens are getting complained on and having people go out and enforce that. I guess my concern, because I got your message and I actually was talking to other members of city staff as well and was going to respond because I know that there are other members that sometimes try to help parks out when they're short-staffed or trying to work on those different parks. But what I worry is we're already short-staffed on the parks and recreation side, especially when it comes to the maintenance. And it's one of those where I know that Kelly Bach and Matt Salvatore, that crew, they would love to hire more individuals, but that does take more money, more resources. And as you saw, we already are having to increase taxes due to a lot of the legislation coming out of the state. So it's either eliminate some of the parks that we're trying to keep beautiful or hire more individuals and have to be able to pay for that. And so that's one of the challenging things. But Julie reached out, it sounds like, to Matt, and that they want to get to that as well. And I even reached out to other members of staff to see if they can kind of pick up, not the slack, but be able to get to it faster. Because it bothers me too. As I said in the message, I hate the medians. That's one area that drives me crazy when I see tall weeds. Just like the on-off ramps to different areas, because I feel the same way you do about the Iowa DOT. I'm always like, why does the DOT not have to mow or upkeep different areas in our community when everyone else is expected to?
But the problem, what you guys are missing is, listen, you cannot require a citizen to get their shit cleaned up in 7 days if the city can't do the same. That's the problem.
I think that that will be done in 7 days, what you just reported to us, if we consider the same. I'm not missing your point, Paul, but there are hundreds of miles of streets and medians, and it's not always going to be perfect all the time. We don't go out looking for these people's yards to be in bad condition, look for somebody who isn't mowed or has weeds. It is a complaint-driven process. Somebody has got to have called the city a time or two or three and said, I'm sick of my neighbor having a crappy looking yard.
Right,
And
but
then
it's-
they'll go out and look.
Instead of having these inspectors going out and looking for weed,
They're not looking for them.
Not going out and verifying that the weeds are there.
Okay,
We could eliminate those positions and just have those people be
mowing?
weed people taking care of the issues, right? Because
Well, that's not the only
I
thing
mean, we
they're
don't need
doing.
an inspector to go out and verify that
That's
the
not the
weeds
only
there.
thing they're doing. It's one of their duties.
I mean-
I don't want to debate it with you. I'm just asking for understanding. Nothing is perfect all the time. It's just not. And I get it. I don't like looking at weeds. I don't like looking at trash flying through the air. But we'll never have enough to make it perfect all the time. We just won't.
But I don't want Paul to fall down with a heart attack, but I gotta agree, if we're requiring people to do it in 7 days and we're not doing it ourselves,
Right.
then maybe we have to give the citizens 2 weeks.
I'm fine with that. I'm just saying that I think
'Cause I don't-
that this will be mowed in 7 days.
I don't disagree. I mean, I drive down Grandview every day and there's 2 demoed houses there and the weeds are 1.5 feet tall that I get to look at every morning when I go by. And I didn't turn it in as a weed complaint because I don't know how we get them mowed anyway. But anyway, I think that especially, we haven't had a rainy season like this in Sioux City for probably 5 years. And so grass grows really fast. So I don't know if that's an ordinance change or what, but I don't think we can require people to do something that we're not willing to at least accept ourselves. So if that means we have to change that ordinance to give them 2 weeks, the citizens will have to live with that. I mean, that'd be my vote, but we can bring it up and talk about it and vote on it, a proposed change, I guess. And if nobody supports it, I'm okay with that. But I've always felt like if we have ordinances that we ought to comply with just like we expect everybody else to. I don't think that's unreasonable.
I don't think it is either. And I'm taking Paul's complaint and I turned it in. Honestly, I think it should be
I believe you, but
citywide.
I believe you, but if I wouldn't have been out here, I would have bet a lot of money that it wouldn't be fixed.
Let us look into it.
That's not true.
Leslie, I mean, look at, can someone talk to the railroad? I mean,
Oh
from.
my God, they will
We
not
can't-
listen to us.
We have no control.
Yeah, they will not listen to us,
I
Paul.
complained down about,
Yeah.
where was it? Down by Home Depot. It always looks horrible right by the railroad right there. That's where I've complained before. And yeah, they refuse to,
They left those ties stacked up in Riverside for over a year.
They won't listen to
They
us.
won't.
The good news, he does have at least one railroad lady that he can call direct. Bob Padmore gave him that phone number on the way out the door, and they did mow him on Floyd Boulevard the other day, so.
And
But
Paul,
we'll look into it.
Paul, we will continue to try to do better. I'm not, disagreeing with what you're saying. I want everything to look good too, and I don't want citizens to be picked on, but they're really not. Somebody has got to have called and complained about them
I
more than
believe
once.
that, but
They just
again.
do. What if you have a complaint about somebody? You want the city to get out there and do it?
Well, I mean, but that's what I'm
honestly,
saying.
I know, we can give
I
them
gotta
2
get to
weeks.
hockey
I don't
practice. Anything
care.
else? Sorry.
We can give them 2 weeks. I don't care. We can give them more time. It's fine. If you think a week is unfair, that's
No,
fine.
I just want,
You want equal for everybody.
yes.
And I do too.
I want the city to follow through and do their stuff.
We're trying.
I also think
Not
we're a
that we're
little,
not trying.
and we're a little strict on things like, I am in favor of a no mow May. Obviously, this year, in my personal yard, no mow May would not have been an option. So there also has to be a little bit of common sense in that
Right.
too. But I know like one thing ERA's looking into is pocket prairies and yards. The state has a pocket prairie program. And so I know that that's one thing that they're looking at in environmental services, as well as having options like that for landscaping, for people who, want to have a section of their yard where they can grow native plantings and not have to worry about the city's ordinances, because they are pretty strict sometimes. But to the mayor's point,
neighbors have to be
I
able to
think that
recognize that.
a 1-week turnaround time is a little ridiculous when, we haven't had sunshine. Like last week, it was rainy every day. About and mow.
Thank you.
Paul, will you state your name for the recording, please?
Paul Koskovich.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Matthew?
Well, this is a busy week. We got a lot going on. We've got Flag Day this weekend, Father's Day coming up. I've got 2 birthdays in my family. But the thing I'm looking forward to most is my 9-year anniversary tomorrow. 9 years I've been married to this amazing person, so I'm really excited to celebrate that. And as a special gift to you, Mayor, that is everything for this week.
I just want to remind everybody, Parade Day is Friday in Leeds, and Dan and I are in charge.
We are.
da-da.
Da-da-da-da.
Alex?
5 or 6 months.
The only thing I wanted to say was, I wanted to share a message that was passed along, in case it hadn't been shared previously, but, just that I heard up at Grandview Park that everything was really looking pretty incredible for the municipal band, that it was a great concert on Sunday night, and that Parks and Rec had that park, looking just incredible, and a lot of people were very appreciative of it. So while there might be some medians and different areas to get to, gosh, our parks are looking great. And I know people have said that about the riverfront as well, that area is just looking pretty fabulous, and we're really thankful to have that added amenity. And sometimes, unfortunately, when you don't have the finances to add enough staff or enough tax base to be able to do so, it's challenging. And I know that Kelly Bach and the team are up to the task and getting to those things. So I appreciate their efforts very much. That's all I have, Mayor.
More?
One of the most emotional ceremonies I attended was last Tuesday night, the Midwest Honor Flight that came back to the airport, and all the veterans that deplaned, got off the plane, came in, and just had a lot of feelings about what they saw when they were in Washington, D.C. It was a night that I'll long remember, and it was special because it did fly into Sioux City. It was just incredible. That's all I have, Mayor.
I had the opportunity to go to the changing of the guard, or the changing of the commander at the guard unit. It was those ceremonies are always really nice, and Sonia Morrison has done a great job for the city of Sioux City and that unit, and we wish her the best. She's going to Washington DC, and the new commander's got a really good pedigree, and I'm sure he will do very well down there. So that's encouraging that they continue to get really good leadership in that unit.
Sonia will be missed too. Yeah, she did a great job.
Yep. Parade, I won't be at. Leeds Parade, but I will be out of town,
I will be as well.
and I will not be here next week, so I will hope that all of you will keep Mr. Moore in line, because a little power might go to his head. I move we adjourn.
Before I second that, I just want to let you know, I might go around that parade route twice.
We're going to need double
I'm in
candy.
charge.
All right.
Double the candy. Second.
Shaner.
Aye.
Scott.
All right,
Waters.
Aye.
Moore.
you got him.
Go around the route twice.
Okay.
For weeks.
Aye.
All right, see ya.
Can we have that ordinance?
Take that.